What if I told you that there's one skill that makes the biggest difference to whether you play your best or whether you fall well short of your potential? It's your ability to be completely in the moment as you play music. And if you can develop this skill even just a little bit, then it will make a massive difference to how well you play. And this video is going to show you how. My own best performances always come when I'm fully in the moment. And conversely, when things go wrong, it almost always turns out that I wasn't fully in the moment. Now, it's really easy just to say that the most important thing for playing your best is just to be in the moment. And it sounds really straightforward when I put it like that, but of course it's much harder to do in practice. So we're going to take a look at what exactly it means to be in the moment, why it's just so important, and then, well, how are you actually going to do it? So what does being in the moment actually mean? Don't worry, it is pretty much as simple as it sounds, but it's worth just getting clear on it quickly. And at its core, it's just about being focused in what is happening right now. No time traveling to what's happened or what's coming up. And the way this usually shows up is worry about what might be happening in the future, if that's difficult or challenging, and potentially regrets for what has happened in the past if you've messed something up and you wish it hadn't gone that way. But just be aware that this can come up with issues when good things happen as well. You're just as much failing to be in the moment if you've just played something really well and you're thinking about, oh, wasn't it brilliant that I did it that well? And equally, if you're looking forward to what's coming up, again, you're not there present in what's happening right now, and that's where we need to be. So why is being in the moment just so important? Well, it's literally the only thing that you can have any influence over. You can't change what's past. You can't change what's going to happen in the future until it gets there and it becomes the present moment. All you can do is affect what's happening right now. And music is a complicated thing. It takes huge amounts of brain power to conceive of what you're going to play and then do the muscle movement executions to actually make that happen. So if your mind is in the past or in the future, anywhere but the present, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're handicapping yourself massively. So what is the point in doing all the work in practice so you have the ability to play what you're now meant to be playing, and then you don't bring your full brain power to it so that you play it as well as you can? And equally, the converse is also true. If it's something that's just at the limits of your capability, or maybe even slightly beyond, you would be amazed at how well you can do it or how close you can get to doing it reasonably well if you really have brought all your mental power to bear on just what do I do now in the future. And of course, as you get more and more into looking at the past and what's gone wrong, if that happens, that can be a spiraling effect as well. So it can bring you into thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't made that mistake. You're out of the present, you don't play as well, things go worse, you go round and round that loop. And so that ability to bring yourself back into the present moment, to get yourself back on track if you've gone off, is hugely important. Now, there are two reasons why you might not realize just how big a deal it is to be in the moment. And the first is simple awareness. Often we just don't realize that our minds have drifted off into the past or into the future. And the second is that it's one thing to stay in the present moment just in a nice, calm, easy environment. But whenever it is that you get into a high stakes thing, when there's pressure on, when you really care about the outcomes, that's when this actually gets harder, because the temptation to dwell on what's past or what's coming up is bigger. So you need to do the training in advance if you're going to be really good at staying in the moment in those few high pressure situations when it really matters. So just how do you actually get better at being in the moment? And there are two aspects to this. The first is you've got to commit to it. You've got to recognize that this is an important skill and give it due priority. Do you really have the guts to say when you go out to perform, you know what, I'm going to judge my performance not by how well I play, but by how much I was able to stay in the moment at every point? Now, that's tough to do because it feels like you're letting go of really focusing on playing well. But firstly, you need to do this if you're going to get better at staying in the moment, to play better in the future. And secondly, when you let go of it's all about how well I play right now, it's just about me being in the moment, you probably will find that you actually play better as a result. And now the second way to get better at playing in the moment is just to practice. And again, this is kind of similar to the committing thing. You've got to prioritize it. You've got to say, you know what, I've got all this technical stuff to work on, but this is important too, and I'm going to give it time. And then simply look at, well, what can I do? What am I going to focus on that is going to keep me right here in the moment? And let's have a practice session, just a short bit, where I'm just deliberately doing that and rating myself on how well I do that. And so lots of things you can use. A couple of tips for you, things that I really like. One is really focusing on the rhythm. Rhythm is to do with music happening at points in time. So there's no way you can be focused on the rhythm and not be in the moment. So if you're working on just being really locked into the rhythm, you've got to be in the moment if you're doing it properly. And the second thing you can focus on is the sound you're producing. If you're really, really listening to the sound that you're producing, again, that sound is happening at a point in time right now. So if you're genuinely locked onto that, you are there in the moment. So that's a couple of ideas that you can play around with. So this is a really important skill. Do not underestimate how important it is, and don't leave it until later to work on it. Give it some time today. Now, I definitely recommend checking out my video on how to get into the zone when you practice. And if you'd like to develop your ability to be in the present moment further, then mindset is a great place to start. Check out my free ebook, Unshakable Foundations, which shows you the 9 key mindsets that the top performers all share. And if you'd like to go really deep into this, then have a look at my course, Unlock Your Performance. I'll put links to both of these in the description below. I've been Mark Morley-Fletcher. Thanks so much for watching. Please click below to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And while you're down there, why not hit the share button as well to pass this on to other musicians? Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.